All right, I think I got everything worked out on my end, guys. Trying to get the last minute details all fixed here, and we should be ready in about a minute or so. If you guys can all right, we've already had one person get kicked out. We're not even going to say his name or what he's saying. Coming up on the next RC Conspiracies, possibly, we'll have a Is JT a fanboy? And maybe we'll get JT to come on here and talk. I like JT. I think we could have a good conversation. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another RC Conspiracies live stream / podcast. For those of you that are listening the day after via the podcast or sometime after during the podcast, welcome. So we have a live group of people following along in the chat with us here, and they'll be providing some of the content that we'll be talking about and some of the rumors and things that we want to kind of go through. So lots of news, lots and lots of news happening in the RC world. And we're only going to get to scratching the surface of some of it tonight, and we'll save some of it for a little bit later. The comments are already exploding, and I'm going to have to try and go back and read a few of those as we go on here. But some of the early comments, if I didn't see them, be sure to post them again, because it'll be easier for me to see them if they're toward the bottom of the list. So there's a couple things we're going to talk about. There's lots of people in here. I see JT, RC must see, AB, fifth scale or no sale, he says. Epic RC Video Productions. Jack is in the house. Joseph Dahari. Joshua Williams, what's going on, my man? That's my RC. Honey Lulu, as well as RC Basher Boy, which I did get your email, man. I will respond. It's been busy. It's been very busy. So what we're going to be talking about tonight, there's two things, ARRMA related, and then maybe a couple of other little spin-offs off of that. But the first thing is, we saw a little post that popped up from Jason talking and telling somebody that they might want to hold on before purchasing an x-maxx because something's coming is kind of we'll pull that post up in a minute. But that one, of course, gets the rumor mill started because everybody is asking for a huge ARRMA basher. We've been getting some 7 scale stuff, but we'd love to see even bigger if it can go that way. So don't know what's going to happen there, but we have some, desires and wants. So hopefully we'll get them for Christmas, right? So yeah, somebody said Venom. I think it was, probably Josh. Driftomaniacs is in the house. Concepts RC, John Bailey, man, bunch of you guys are in here. Thanks for joining in, guys. My little I had to get a new computer, and I was trying to get everything over onto this new computer setup. And I have one of these like cool Stream Deck thingies. Trying to get it in this shot, but I can usually push the buttons on it, and it goes to the different screens, and makes it way easier for me to do the show. But it's not working with the new updates and everything I had to do because of the new computer. So when I downloaded the new OBS and the new Stream Deck or whatever, it's all in there, it just doesn't want to work. So yay. So we'll be doing this the old-fashioned way, manually, and it's also been getting off time, like out of sync, and it fluctuates in how bad it's out of sync. And so there's some details I have to work through. You podcasters, though, you're good, you're gravy, because it doesn't affect you. You just need the good audio, which, we need to start recording. Shoot. All right, everybody, let's start over. No, just kidding. So yeah, there's lots of new stuff to talk about. There's also this Team Corally or Coralie. I don't know the pronunciation of the name. I don't know that much about them other than what I just started researching the past weekend. I guess it's been when I saw stuff pop up on the ARRMA ARRMY, and they were posting this car that looked like a Typhon, but it was actually a Python, which is literally just moving two of the letters around, putting the P at the front and switching that with the T. You guys know what I mean. So anyway, it's like very much a clone. It's like the Oakley glasses look exactly like Oakley glasses, but they changed the name a little bit. Anyway, we want to talk a little bit about that because that actually seems like a pretty big company. And so that's an interesting move. So we'll go into that in just a second. But before we do that, I do want to, of course, go through and do some of my self-promotion, which is just, so wrong of me to do, but shameless. First of all, guys, RC Conspiracies podcast is literally just rcconspiracies.com if you want to listen that way. It's set up through Podbean if you do Podbean app, or you can get it on the Apple Podcast store as well as through Google. So it's getting spread out there, guys. So if you do like podcasts and you want to listen that way, if you can't sit through the whole video for whatever reason, or you're working and just want to catch up, that's the way you can do it. You can listen that way. So that is one cool thing that we have going, is that we have got the podcast up and streaming, which is just the audio of this taken. But also there's RC Conspiracies merch, from shirts to stickers. Now the round stickers on here are kind of big, I will say that. There is like these ones here, where the CCxRC sticker pack. Here at the bottom is the RC Conspiracy stickers. I have some of them here, and it gives you a better scale size. So there's smaller, bigger, and so I cut these out to put on the cars, and then there's bigger sizes. So, yeah, anyway, and you get more for your money that way if you do want to get some stickers. But those, if you want to put them on your car, are the right ones to do, because the ones that I've been sending people are a little big to put on their RCs. All right, so enough of all of that talk. One more shameless plug. I just uploaded the Low-C Tenacity DB Pro BMX Trail bashing video, you guys. It's really cool, and I would suggest checking it out. It's probably my favorite RC car this year that we've had on the channel to date in 2019. As I've gone back, I went and looked through all of the new cars I've had on in 2019, and I just really like how this one handles. I do want to put a faster servo in it, but just in the air, on the ground, it just has a really cool feel to it. That takes me back to my Low-C 10 SCTE, the short course one, but it's better because it doesn't like float like the short course did. You don't get that wind up under and it just parachutes. This thing is just a dream to drive, and so I'm really, really enjoying this thing. So yes, that is one other thing. And then I've got something coming for you guys. I have some teaser videos up, if it'll let me show here. Yeah, so we've got this one, which is the x-maxx doing some crazy flips. And this right here, it's just titled this, doing a cool backflip. It just looked cooler than it actually was. It wasn't really that special. It was just a backflip, but it kind of, the way that the lip was, it made it also kind of have to spin and save itself when the wheels hit. It just looked cool. Anyway, so those are a couple things that I have that I'd love for you guys to check out. All that said, let's start talking about the conspiracies, and I think and I hope that that is the next tab. And then I'm going to jump to the comments to see what you guys are saying, because I know you're saying a bunch of stuff in there. So John Donovan came over to our RC Conspiracies Facebook group that is open to anybody that wants to join. It is a closed group, but if you do the request to join, I do go through and I approve everybody that has anything to do with RC. So anyway, Martin Crease on the ARRMA UK page said, can't wait for the new Traxxas Max. Who's order one and which color? And so somebody's, teasing him, are you sure you like ARRMA? And then somebody else said something that says, if you're going to get one, if not a real x-maxx, something like that. Anyway, later on down, Jason says, I'd wait a bit if I were you. Jason Dearden, who's the founder of ARRMA. And you can see Luke says just below it. Well, this conversation got interesting, increasingly interesting. Epic year so far. So that's what we're here to talk about. So we've been talking and saying it seems like it's coming. They keep talking about something bigger coming. This person's talking about that he was going to get an x-maxx. Andy Church is saying he's going to get a max, if not a real x-maxx. And then Jason says, well, hold on a second here. You might want to wait a minute. And so that right there is what makes things very interesting. I don't know the timing of any of that, but it definitely got my interest piqued. I actually screenshotted it, and I hadn't posted it yet, and John beat me to it over on the RC Conspiracies page. So yeah, it is something that's making me try to keep some of the cash that I have in my pocket, although I just kind of had to kill it with the computer I had to pick up. And I'd already ordered this little roadcaster thing. So let's go back through and take a look. Wow, that's my RC says, dang, 77 watchers. That's awesome, guys. Thanks. 86 concurrent viewers. Very cool. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Driftomaniac says, I'm going back up a little bit here. 8S x-maxx rival before Christmas. Xmas, he says. X-maxx before Xmas. That would be pretty cool. And if it was, what would you guys think? Is it going to be something along the line that they already have? Or do you think they'll build something completely new, like a new animal? So the Mojave's kind of a rehash of an old one. The Infraction is completely new. The Limitless is completely new. But those are in the 6S BLX line. I'm guessing based on naming convention that there's probably going to be like an 8S line if it is going to go bigger. I think they'll probably keep that naming convention, but I don't know. You guys, what do you think? Earl Moorhead says 1/5 scale ARRMA? Question mark. Joseph Dehari says, yep, if this thing comes out, I am so in. I am with you, man. All right, so I got to play catch up. JD Passel says, send me some CCxRC clothes. I am naked. Oh, that's a great way to ask, man. JD Passel says, x-maxx killer. He also just picked up a Mojave. I haven't got to watch the video yet, but I did see it pop up in my string. That's not one I have yet, guys, because honestly, I saw this post and I thought, is that going to be something that I would love? Because you guys know me, I love monster trucks. And so I like the big cars. If you've noticed, I've been getting the larger RCs. Now the 5T, the x-maxx. I had the DBXLE, which I sold to get another gasser, which is the sprint car. That's a 1/5 scale. Foundry RC says a 1/5 gas would be epic. I don't think they're going to do gas, but Craig McClellan says 8S is coming. Justin says Mojave is a total redesign. Yeah, I agree. And so are they going to do a total redesign on something? Would they do a 5th scale Raider? Wouldn't that be cool? Kind of like the Baja? That'd be interesting. I don't think that's what it is, though. They've gone so basher, 4-wheel drive. But the question is, what is it going to look like? And if it looked like any of the bashers that they have, it would look pretty sweet. I really wanted, I'm guessing it's going to be like a monster truck style one, or I guess there's a Truggy, most of the ARRMA stuff, but it would be so cool to get another 5th scale buggy, like So Traxxas has the 5B, and it's a gas one, but it would be really awesome to have an 8S fifth scale buggy. Like a Typhon 8S would be pretty rad. I'm not gonna lie, I would totally buy one of those. Foundry RC says, I think 1/10, 1/6, or 1/7 will be cool too. Okay. So people say, I'd like to see a fifth scale 8S bashing Beast. Beast would be a cool name, wouldn't it? The ARRMA Beast. So lots of you guys sound like you'd be all in on that if there was a fifth scale one that came out. String Thumper says, x-maxx killer. Good God, can you imagine? I can. Chris Watson says, just grab that Sen Reaper and it's massive. I was very impressed with it. It is very impressive, even on 6S, I would say. Again, servo is something I would swap out, and I say that about a lot of ready-to-run cars. The servo can always be improved, and I think it's more noticeable than motors and some of the other stuff. Fifth scale that performs like a 6S Outcast, that would be pretty gnarly. It would get expensive. I don't think you wanted to stunt that much at fifth scale. I could be wrong. So, how does audio and everything sound, guys? We have changed things up. So I did go ahead and we got the Rode Podcaster, and I know. It's all good. You don't have to cheer for me, but yeah. So we're gonna be doing this because it allows me to do phone calls in and stuff like that. So we can do some other podcast stuff. But I can't tell what it sounds like on your end. It sounds a little bit hot, actually, on my end. A 1/7 scale Typhon and Nero would be nice. Whoa, wouldn't that be cool if they came back out with the Nero and bigger scale and just changed up the shocks in the slightest way to make it okay? True Boys, anything ARRMA 8S is worth getting. I agree, man. I'm so excited. Like, when I saw that post, I literally was like going nuts. I was like trying to tell my wife, and she didn't care, of course, right? So she's like, yeah, cool. You want to spend more money? Awesome. And it's bigger, so it costs more, right? So, yeah. So get those wallets nice and thick, guys, so you can watch your back kind of, curl up as you sit on that thing. And then after you get it, you need to get it because, the chiropractor bill is going to be so expensive. But if you just spend that money, get that 8S BLX, that wallet will shrink down to almost nothing, and you'll be sitting straight again. Your back will go back to normal. Things will be good. Hey, Luke Cray is in the house. You know he wants some of that big 8S-ness. I'm guessing it's 8S. It could be 6S. I don't think it would be. Not with that new Spectrum system hanging out in the Horizon Hobby warehouses or wherever they keep those things. E. Northern says he's already saving. Ooh, whoa. Let's go back to this one. Toronto said fifth scale Big Rock. That would be really cool. Epic RC Video Production says, you got plenty of money, Tony. I do all right. This computer killed me, though. It really did. It really set me back. Yeah, Tremonta Williams says, I say a fifth scale Big Rock. I'm down with that. That would be cool. They could do any of them just about, and I would be down with it. I mean, even a fifth scale Infraction would be so cool. It would be pretty rad. Michael Lucre says 12S is the new 8S. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 12S. Yeah. Maybe I'm selling them short, right? Just that would just be like literally crunch over the x-maxx. I guess you could then call it an x-maxx. Oh, an 8S Granite. Ooh, now we're talking. Just skip like the 6S Granite. Let's just jump that bad boy. You know what? A 6S Granite, I'd be down for that too, guys. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm thinking too big. It's kind of got that monster truck feel to it. I'm all right with that. You guys are killing it in the comments, though. Got my interest peaked. So I need to pull up here really quick the next part that we want to talk about, because I somehow lost the page. Out of Belgium, Team Corelli. So, Fart Knocker 710. How many RC you have? Oh man. A lot. I'm trying to sell them now. Some of them. Trying to sell them. So there's all this talk about the big stuff, guys. Right? There's lots of talk about the big stuff. But one of the things that really interested me today, if I go back to this page where we were, just give me a second. It's on the same page. Well, let's talk. There was another thing that we'd been waiting for to see what it was, which was the DBXLE came out with the 2.0, which looks pretty rad. And it's not just a simple new body paint scheme, all of that. They've re-engineered some of it, which makes some people really happy because it fixes some of the problems, but it also makes some people mad because they're like, well, now, I got to buy new stuff. Some of the stuff doesn't fit, and, it kind of outdated it. I think it's good. I think that they did some stuff with the steering, which looks interesting. There's a lot of redesign in there to make it stronger, and it looks awesome. The bodies are really cool for it. So I'm interested in this. It's got the new Spectrum Smart stuff in it, the 8S, 750 kV motor, I think it is. 4-pole, should be pretty fast. Said that it goes over 50 miles an hour. So yeah, lots of news happening out there, guys. I do want to kind of go back and quickly say that, I made some changes on what I think about the Max again, which is going to happen a lot, I think, over time. I can't make up my mind. I had the best bash ever with it, I think, at Ipswich, and it was amazing. So I have video coming to that will show you guys. But yeah. Mr. Mad 2424 says already got the 6S Granite in the form of an Outcast. Yeah, I think that there's more control of the Granite. It's not quite so stunt crazy. Crazy Man asked, did you sell the Max yet? No, man. After that last bash, I don't think I'm going to. I'm going to give it another second chance, because I drove it on the dirt, and it's a different animal in the dirt. It doesn't traction roll, lots of stuff. So, going to give it another shake. So one of the other things, speaking of small scale, that did interest me was these 124 scale 1976 Ford F-150s by Charisma Scale Adventure. These things are cool, man. They have video of it as well. I think there's a few more pictures in here we can scroll through. Yeah, I mean, it looks so cool. I'd love to have a 124 scale that could be somewhat upgradable, capable, which Axial is also bringing out too in their Jeep Wrangler. Not Jeep Wrangler. Is it Jeep? I think it is a Jeep Wrangler. That looks pretty cool. But yeah, so you've got the really big stuff that interests me and some of the small stuff. But let's talk about something else ARRMA related. So, I guess we go back to this again. So I think it was recently. I'm going to scroll. You guys have to pay attention to the scrolling. John Donovan again, JD, said, it's not an ARRMA Creighton, or is it? Thoughts on how this plays out. And there's definitely thoughts on how this plays out. I saw this in the, I first saw the Python over in the ARRMA RC Army. And, so I saw this, first of all, that's like the top brace there above the motor and all that. Now, it doesn't wing out like the Creighton one does, but it's still the same idea. Now, it does, if you look at the very back by the wing, it does have 2 chassis braces that go up to that shock tower, which is interesting. So they took a little different approach on bracing it. But it does definitely kind of steal from that look. And then you see the tires that look kind of like the Outcast. It definitely is intriguing. The red wheel nuts, even, red, black. Yeah, it's interesting. So has anybody else heard anything of this? So I went to look at Team Corelli, and look at this, world champions, engineered to be the fastest. They have motors, they've got batteries, they've got all this racing stuff. And I'm like, holy cow, how have we never heard of these people? And so I started looking, general info. They're a division of JSP Group International, and they're based out of Belgium. There was another thing way down at the bottom that says they're manufacturers, and I clicked on that, and actually it's a blank page. It doesn't say who their manufacturers are. But it's very curious that it's so close looking to the Creighton. And so here's the Kronos in action. It was actually kind of funny because the very beginning of the video opens up with him crashing it a couple times. It looks like me driving. Oh, here I go. I'm going to do a triple backflip. Nope. Gonna break the wing off first jump. Boom, right on the wing. That would have been a shock tower breaker. But I mean, it looks and handles very similarly. I keep popping stuff up over the video. Sorry about that, guys. Those pizza cutters up in the front there. Can't believe those tires hold on like that. So it's interesting, especially when you look at next. Well, this one just kind of just went wherever it wanted. Their Python, which looks very much like a Typhon, as you can see in the video. So, I mean, even down to the tires on these. Get back in here to the product shots here for a second. That thing's cruising, though. So they do have buggies and stuff. We'll go in. They do a lot of pan cars and race cars. And so these bastards are something that are just now showing up on their site. Because if you go to their site, it doesn't even list these yet. And so trying to figure out, yeah, see, look at that. It looks so much like a Typhon to me. Oh, somebody says Jason Dearden was a manager at Corelli in the mid-90s. I don't know that I smell collusion there, but that's interesting. I hadn't heard that. Drifto says Team Corelli is much bigger in Europe on the track blacktop racing scene. I think they've been around a long time. So yeah, that's what I see in what I've been seeing. So let me go back here really quick. So I was just reading a few of the comments. If I go back to their website and you look at it, I mean, the cars that they have, if you go ready to run, it's some like funky looking Jeep monster truck things that are kind of weird looking. This almost looks like an HPI, this Mammoth. But it's here when you look at their car kits that you see what kind of they're really into. So they got a bunch of on-road cars. Formula One car, that actually looks really rad. And then they've got like 10th scale race buggy. And then here's just kind of the chassis kits only. So it was fascinating, seeing this. I know in the US, the race scene's kind of, I think that there's at the moment, a larger bashing scene than there is race scene. Are you guys seeing that where you are as well? I feel that at least on the East Coast, because there's not a whole lot of race action going on, that at least in my area. Now, I say that, and they're building a new track, which is so awesome. That's going to have indoor carpet. I think it's going to be carpet on road and then carpet off road, as well as a drift course. And so I don't know if the on road is actually going to be carpet, if they're going to leave it cement. And that I don't know. But they've got a couple of tracks that they're going to be putting in this warehouse that they've got, which, yes, lucky us. I'm so excited about that. That's my RC says, I heard Hulk Hogan is making a comeback. That is so important to this conversation, and I'm so glad to hear that. Actually, it's really cool. So JD Passel says that, yes, they are from Belgium. So in here, there's a few more comments. Drifter says, work with boats over the past few weeks. JD Passel, ARRMA should copy Tamiya Grasshopper and make it go 6S fast. Oh, Steve from RC Tanks and Trucks says the F1 car looks cool. I haven't done anything with something like that. I would love to. However, if I did one, you guys know I'd get the Limitless. So, yeah. Drifto says Tony Blacktop racing is more common further west than East Coast outside due to the weather. I get that. What kind of blacktop racing, though? Just on-road? I mean, we don't have much race scenes here at the moment. We have a few people that meet up and do drag racing in parking lots, and we have the oval track that I've been going to, but that's in some guy's backyard that he set up, and it's just been so cool to do that for everybody. But the scene here is smaller. You know, we've got the monster truck stuff that you can just set up anywhere, which is great about that. Travis Paul, is drag racing taking off? That Proline and J Concepts are both coming out with new bodies every month. There's definitely a scene for it. If you look, there's actually like a federation of like RC drag racer type stuff. They've got a cool podcast, and there's a whole thing down in Texas based out of it that's really cool. And so I know they go to the big event, but I don't know how popular it is around. I mean, I'm seeing it, and I really want to get one because they look so cool. And I actually have one of the Traxxas drag timing systems, so you know I could do my own drag racing with my boys or whatever. You know, get a few friends getting into it, which is really all you need. I don't need a big race scene. You know, I guess a couple friends getting together is just as much fun. If you're all into the same thing, set up your own racing, right? So let me clear my throat here real quick. So what do you guys think is going on with Team Co Rally and those cars? You know, all but smelling like ARRMA vehicles. I don't even know. I mean, maybe the scent is the same. They look very similar, and they're going for that design style even. And I don't know what kind of regulations there are over in Europe, if there are any, for that kind of thing, what the copyright regulations and all that are. And are they going to come over here? I mean, I've never seen any co-rally stuff in the US, so I don't know that it's going to penetrate the market here, but is it going to do anything to the market in Europe? That'd be a good question. That's my RC. CCxRC is the whistle? What do you mean by that? The whistle. Oh, the whistleblower? Going back to Travis Paul's question, I'm definitely curious about the drag racing as well. You know, you get those brackets and you can kind of whip through some of that. Those guys would be a lot of fun to race. Bucks RC World's joining. What's going on? John Bailey, or is it ARRMA's way to sell away from Horizon Hobby? I don't think that's the case. But who knows? You know, maybe they did sell patents and stuff, but I don't think so. I would not guess that that is the case. ARRMA's pretty set on coming out with their own cool stuff right now. And they're doing a pretty good job of it, if I may say so myself. I'm slowly getting up my ARRMA game as far as vehicles here. I did just, however, let go of my Granite because I had a neighbor. It's a guy that works for my neighbor. Show a lot of interest in it, and you know, the thought of getting somebody else and his kids into the hobby kind of overshadowed my love for having that vehicle, which I really did like. I've told you guys it's probably the easiest grab and go basher I had in all of my arsenal here. So the other ones are bigger, you know, you have to have 2 batteries charged, you know, they're heavier, can't just take it on a camping trip. But yeah, it's I've been growing my fleet a little bit because they've just got so many things coming out that I'm interested in, and that Mojave is like, watching the videos of it has me wanting one so bad. But I'm also knowing I got to wait and see what else is coming out here before the end of the year, because there's going to be some more announcements, and, you know, pockets are only so deep, even if Epic RC Video Productions thinks I'm totally loaded. But yeah, I keep on going in. I've got, well, I could, I guess, show you guys what I got. What I do is I just go every day, and I have a setup on my page here to be able to look through all the different pages and see what may be coming out or what's being announced, or if they have any teasers of something coming in a day or two. And so what I've got is this RC pages to check, which you guys can't see, I guess, unless I go in here and move some things around and let you see it. Yeah, so I've got this RC pages to check tab, and inside of that I've got low C home page, and I'll go and check their page, and that's where, you know, the first thing I go is like, okay, well, they're going to have something coming out here. Whoa. Those tires look awesome on there. Proline Mohawks and slingshots. But they, I kept waiting for the announcement of what was coming out, which was this DBX LE2. Then today I jumped onto the Charisma one, and that's where I saw the video of that F-150. That's the 1/24 scale, and it looks so cool that I quickly posted about it because I had no idea that this was coming out. I guess they'd posted a couple days ago, so I must have missed it. I've been traveling. I just got back from DC for work, and I was in DC last weekend, so it's been busy. But anyway, I just come through, and I keep hitting this ARRMA page, and I keep waiting for, like, announcement coming in 2 days. You know you want it. And I always have to close out this. But one thing, ARRMA is just, they're so good at social media as well, like, just to toot their horn a little bit here, because social media is not the easiest thing in the world to keep up with all the time. Uh-oh, where did my window go? There it is. But they're so good about finding their customers' post and reposting images and pictures and videos. It's just outstanding job that they do, keeping their stuff populated with content so that anybody that comes in, there's something new for you every day. So here 9 hours ago, it's just really sweet looking red Limitless, and then an Outcast, and they say whose it is and all that. It's really cool. Here's Steven Morales' double Mojave action. So anyway, hats off to them. But what I do is I come in and I just start checking through all these pages. You know, Team Associated posted video about their little their game thing that they've got. What's it called? It'll show up here in just 1 second. Their Nano Sport. And so they just did a video about this. So I just go through and I see what's the new news and topics and what's coming up, because it interests me to find that kind of stuff out. But yeah, John Netcruiser RC Tech Cars is in the house. He says the little old Ford looks pretty cool. As far as the 124 scales, that's a kind of would be like at the top of my list, at least for looks right now. I really, really dig that thing. Um, so yeah, it's pretty cool to see. The hard thing is there's so much stuff going up on the ARRMA site that I have to usually go through a couple because it's just the way that Facebook shows stuff to you. Um, Drifto says, Driftomaniac says, as though they use a tag. Yeah, they do use tags, and everybody uses tags, but I tag everything for Losi and for all the other people, and they almost never, Team Associated, you never see them using stuff from anybody but their drivers, just about. Same with Losi. Traxxas actually does too. So Traxxas and ARRMA are really up there as far as keeping up with who is tagging their stuff and showing that they're looking at the stuff that people are posting, which is, important to some people. They like knowing that the brands are watching what they're doing. So I'm super curious what's going to happen with these co-rally vehicles. And I was reading the comments too, because I was seeing if anybody was commenting on them looking like ARRMA. Yeah, see, here's one. Veselin Dimitrov says, ARRMA copy or laughing? Michael Brown, why does everything have to be an ARRMA copy? ARRMA wasn't the first to make an 8th buggy with this design or layout. So, yeah, I think that they got that question being asked when the Truggy came out, and it just kind of looks like the Creighton. But so long, people were calling everything that was kind of a Truggy an E-Revo copy too, just if the body looked anything like an E-Revo. Even if it didn't do the lay down shocks or anything, it was still a E-Revo copy. Driftomaniac says the new XLE2, the Desert Buggy, looks to have good hardware upgrades. I would agree with that. I liked the changes that they made to it. It also has like a double mount. The steering servo, the horn has two sides to it to work the steering, which I think could be pretty cool. So, I mean, when it does come down to it, there is only so much of it. The shock towers, all of them use shock towers. All of them use A-arms and turnbuckles and different things that are shared between the different vehicles. But there is differences in the way that they do that. Like even between like a Team Losi Racing or a Team Associated, you can kind of see the differences. And so that's where it definitely does look very similar. I think, I was looking at some of the shots inside, especially with that Creighton one having that, the brace for the body, I guess. AB says, yes, push-pull steering setup. That's it. Drifto says, you need to remember the one thing you cannot do is criticize ARRMA. Remember, they don't break. It's always the driver error, whilst Traxxas is always the car at fault. He's being sarcastic, by the way. Yeah, it depends on, you get that on both sides. For the Traxxas, you get the complaints if it's an ARRMA fan saying, oh, it's the Traxxas brakes. And it really depends who really comments the most or where you're posting it. Because if you go and post something in an ARRMA forum, of course they're going to say that because they're the fans. But if you would post that same thing saying, hey, look, my ARRMA broke on a Traxxas thing, they'd say, yeah, it's because they're junk. And they wouldn't blame it on the drivers. So, but yeah, we get that in the hobby all over the place, man. Like, I'm always just like, my fault, my bad. Or, I will even say, no matter what would have taken that hit, it probably would have broke. So I try and be honest when I break something, whether or not I think it should have broke or that was kind of light for it to break. I mean, remember the DBXLE, I kind of just barely side landed, and it was just the smallest jump entering into the BMX trail area, and it busted the steering, the servo saver broke. I hadn't driven it for 3 minutes, and I had to go and buy an upgrade. So that was disappointing. Like, that shouldn't have happened on that low of a break or light of a hit. But when I put the metal one in, it was, nothing else really broke on that. It was a beast of a car, other than the body part, which somebody reminded me that I'd done the winter bashing with it, and I could have broken it there and not realized it until I went back out to the BMX trail when the snow had melted. So anyway, because nothing else broke after that, it was so tough. The DBXLE was so tough. But the servo saver did do what it was supposed to do. It saved the servo. If that's what RC Master is asking, he says, "Did your servo break too?" I did end up breaking the servo. That is right. I hit a curb at full speed, and I did break the gears in the servo. You're right. That's a good reminder. I was showing off for a friend who was in town who I hadn't seen in years, and I was drifting around a corner on the street because it's just, they just squeal the tires and just take off straight. Well, I didn't do it right one of the times, and I just clipped the curb at high speed, and I did mess up the servo. So that was my fault. So that one was I say that was me. But yeah. Drifto Maniac says, I had 7 ARRMAs at one point, and one guy was screaming on YouTube that Traxxas were paying me to buy the cars to criticize them when they broke. And then people would say the opposite for JT, who has a bunch of them, and he drove a Max one time and it broke on a fluke. So, yeah. Comments that you get on YouTube, just, you're better off not reading the comments on YouTube if you can avoid it. But you also want to be able to answer people that are in there and asking real things and being serious. But, yeah. The internet's a very mean place, and it's a very opinionated place. And you just have to know that going in and just have thick skin and not feel personally attacked by it. But so I mean, they all break. My Max has been tough as nails. So I've had that pin pop out twice out of the C-hub carrier, and I just literally 3-minute fix, put it back in and back out bashing. I don't know if it's because I soaked it in WD-40, which I like to do, is spray it down with that and let it sit overnight. So I did that, and it's been pretty tough. And actually, the shocks out there didn't work too bad with the jumps that I was hitting, and the way that they carry and landing on the dirt and allow it to slide a little bit more. So I wasn't really getting the chassis slap. And I think part of that chassis slap that everybody's talking about, which I see in the video, is I think a lot of it is body noise because of the body clip system being plastic onto plastic shock towers, and that hard hit is the plastic slamming together and then echoing underneath the hood. I think makes a really loud noise. Yeah, Drift was saying he didn't feel attacked, but he couldn't believe people would think that. People think crazy stuff. Locomotive says, I always bring my DB Pro to the track to run when I break my race kit buggy. That's cool. How do you feel that the DB Pro handles Locomotive 282? Earl Moorhead says WD-40 works well on my bashers. Chris Watson says the Max definitely seems tough. Takes after his big brother. I took my so I went camping in Ohio 2-3 weeks ago, something like that. So it's been like the last 3 weekends I haven't been home really much at all, which has been tough for shooting. Plus, then we have rain right now because I want to get back out there with the Glamosphere. You guys love that video, which is great. It's a really cool car, and I want to get that out into some different terrain. And so I haven't been able to because of the weather. But I took my the DB Pro, the Low C DB Tenacity DB Pro, and I took the Outcast 10th anniversary edition one that I have. Whatever, it's an Outcast 6S, and I took him with me to Ohio, and I loved that Outcast there. I was driving it up trees, sending it into the air 10 feet, flipping, landing. I did have to like back out the pillow ball 2 times because I hit so hard and weird that it pulled the drive shaft out, and I had to, that was the easiest way to get it back in, was to relieve the tension there and then set it again. But tough as nails as well. Like, it didn't break again on me after that one really huge air brake that I had. Nothing else is really broken on it, and I've been beating it up. So I intentionally didn't do video there. Had all kinds of family and people around, and they were playing with them and testing them out. And so, yeah, I'm going to get more video of that as well. I'm going to take the Outcast 6S back to the BMX trail and show you guys that out there, because I think it's going to rip it as well. I don't know that it would bounce as well off of some of those hits that I did take with the Max when you do see the video, because the 6S is a little bit bigger. The wheels stick out a little bit further. So where you lose some handling with the Max because of the tucked wheel, and the wheels kind of really sit over the A-arms quite a bit. The way there's no offset almost. It's like negative offset almost. And so the rim is like, your nut is on the outside, and that wheel cups over that whole thing really far, but it keeps it nice and tucked. And when it hits, there's nothing out there to really easily catch and break off. So that's at least what I've found so far. But I would love to see how it does out on that. So I'm going to take the Outcast out there, and people are going to cry when they see the 10th anniversary edition out there. I may swap out the body for the first couple jumps while I'm getting used to it, so I don't kill it completely, because I do have an orange body that I bought off of Jenny's RC to be able to bash in. Chris Watson says, I love the way the DB Pro ran. Smooth and impressive. Yeah, so I took the Max out there in that same spot, and it didn't run that great. But I took it to the big jumps, and it did awesome. So it's not really, it wasn't like a great handling through that area with the Max like the DB Pro did. But when I just like straight up took it to big jumps and just sent it, that's when it was awesome. So we'll show you guys that one. I need to get some time to edit it, but yeah, all the brands. So Earl Moorhead makes a really good point here. Let me switch off this. I don't know. I got this picture of this Team Co Rally driver. Who was it? We should at least get a name for him or something. They have his name so we can say who we were looking at. It just was up there the whole time. We're just looking at this guy. I don't know who it was. Anyway, so Earl Moorhead had a really, really great point, which is all brands are pushing hard right now, and it's a great time to be in RC. And that about sums it up. It's a really great time right now. Innovation is, we're seeing a lot of it in the industry, which is awesome to see. There's a lot of push to innovate and to come out with a better product, which in the end is good for us, right? And so I'm excited to see what is coming even in 2020. I did see that Scott Myback asked where I went in Ohio, and I went to, there's a bunch of caverns and stuff in like South Central Ohio. It's right near Ohio University, I guess, or, what is it called? It's, where is it? It's right by Chillicothe as well, if that gives any any reference to where we were. I'm really blanking on the name of it. It's a cool place though. Net Cruiser says yes, it's a great time to be in RC. Get a question here. What about the ARRMA Outcast 4S? I haven't done any of the 4S trucks yet. It would be really cool to see one compared to. I've seen, there was JT did a comparison with the Max in the Creighton 4S. And there was another one where it was kind of a versus, but they were just literally driving at the same time with no not the same driver driving them, and there was no kind of review on what they thought. And so it wasn't really a versus. It was just literally like the Creighton 4S and the Max hitting the trails kind of a video, which was awesome. But there hasn't really been, other than JT's, a really good rundown of them and seeing them perform and how they handle. So I'd like to get a feel for that because I haven't done any of the 4S stuff yet. And so that may be one of my next purchases, is something in that lineup. Eleven Charlie RC is in the house. How's it going, man? If you guys haven't checked out 11 Charlie RC and what he's doing for the veterans, it's really cool. He's doing builds for them, and I've donated several times. I recommend it, and want to do more to actually help them out. So I actually need to talk with you about that 11 Charlie, and see what else I can do to help you out with what you've got going on. All right, we've been going for a while. I was trying to hold on, thinking we need to go a little bit longer, but we've been going an hour. RC Voodoo is getting a reply from Driftomaniacs. I don't know what the original question was. RC Voodoo says the WL Toys 144001 I just reviewed. 14 scale did 47 kilometers an hour on 2S and 71 on 3S. 29 miles per hour and 44 miles per hour on a 114 scale. Wow, that's pretty cool, man. So to recap, because RC Master is asking, we'll kind of do that again as just kind of a quick recap. The two things that we were in here to discuss were, let's switch over to the browser again. In here, you can see where I was trying to quickly look up the Ohio cave that we were at. I don't remember. Hocking Hills State Park. That's where we were. Look at how beautiful this was, first of all, before we move on. Now, it's kind of was a little bit more lame when we were there because there was no water. It was like droutish. But it's a really beautiful area with awesome caves and things to walk through. Like this one is huge. You could actually walk up and under this. You don't even get a sense of scale with some of these. All right, that was an accident. All right, so back to our conspiracies, right? So the first one, we have to scroll back down because I moved. It was about Jason Dearden, the founder of ARRMA, talking about telling somebody that they might want to wait to buy an x-maxx, because basically letting us know that something was coming. And also for all of you guys out there that said the conspiracy was, when will I finish my Tamiya Grand Hauler build, I am happy to say that it is done and driving, and the sounds work and everything works. It's really cool. Except I lost the back trailer plastic pieces for the lights. I don't know where they are. So I'm trying to find where that was when Jason had said that. I might be past it already. Oh, yeah, I'm not in the right spot. So it was over on RC Conspiracies. And it was just a thread on the ARRMA UK group We got one person that wants to join. Brian Reynolds. Get approved right now, my man. He's got some awesome content, you guys. If you aren't following Brian Reynolds, definitely should. They're getting some cool speeds with their ARRMAs out there. I'll tell you what. That dog pooping is the funniest. Little girl going and giving encouragement. All right, so it's coming up down here. I know where we're at. So many posts, you guys. All right. So here it was. Can't wait for the new Traxxas Max. Whose order one and which color is the question being asked. And then, we got another person asking. I will approve you after. Andy Church says, I'm going to get one, if not a real x-maxx. See what Penny's like at the time. So he's saying he may save up the extra money and get the real one, the big one. Which I still recommend that. Like, the Max was all right, but if I were to spend $600, and I didn't have an x-maxx, I would want to save up the extra and get the real one, the x-maxx. But now we're being told we might want to wait even more to see how this thing is going to be, because Jason says, I'd wait a bit if I were you. And so they're saying this conversation just got really interesting. So yes, it did. He dropped the mic and walked out of the room. And yeah, that was a really big mic drop. And then the next thing we talked about was the Team Corrali Kronos, which looks just like, not just like, it resembles very much a Kraton. As you can see here, the pizza cutters failed backflip attempt, puts it in the dirt. I think that was a fail too, based on where it was going. That's a pretty cool save. I'll give him that. But yeah, so there's that one, which is the Kronos, which they probably could have just called the like Tacron or something. Because the next one that they have is called the Python. And it looks, if you move this T and this P, what do you get? Just swap those around. You get Typhon, right? So don't tell me that it's not trying to emulate the ARRMA. Somebody was asking why, just because there's a lot of people that make these 8-scale buggies and they look the same. That was in the comments. I'm like, well, then why'd you call it the Python and make it the color schemes and kind of the graphic package kind of look like the Typhon? So that was the second thing. And so then we're like, what does that mean? And why is this happening? Who are these people? And it turns out that it's a pretty big company out of Belgium. And they have world champion racers for them and stuff. They have batteries. They have chargers. They've got a ton of stuff. So it's, they've been around and they're a bigger player in the UK. I've never heard of them before. And before these cars came out, these bashers, and it started getting spread around the ARRMA groups, and which was funny because they were kind of like interested in them, and like, these have better upgrades than the ARRMA. I'm going to get one of these, and so that's what they were touting in these ARRMA groups, which was kind of interesting. But yeah, so that should bring you up to speed. They're kind of like clone conspiracies, as Merck said. So yeah, Epic RC Video Production says you're always going to get knockoffs no matter what. This being such a big company has a little bit more stealing power, I guess, if you were to call it that, as far as taking market from ARRMA potentially, if they're competing side by side on a shelf, whereas a lot of the clones are literally just through eBay or Amazon now, or from Chinese resellers. So I missed something. Bacon bits. Almost beef. All right, sorry, concept. So Farnacker says he's losing sleep over the Max. I wouldn't lose sleep over any of them. So guys, I'm actually kind of in the works trying to work out a trade for another trailer setup, and it's if I get it, it's pretty cool. It looks like I might be able to pull. I don't think I'll be able to pull this in. Actually, I won't. But it looks like the Green Goblin truck, and so it has a 3D printed front and all that. It's not finished. He started working on it. Has the trailer already, the Happy Toys trailer, but it kind of looks like this. And the face and everything are already done. Oh, come on. So the face is already done. It just needs to be painted and assembled and kind of finished off, get the finishing touches on it. But it kind of looks like this. It's pretty cool. So I'm trying to work out a trade for it. How's it going, Dan Brando? RC Masked Master said copyright wasn't updated, I'm guessing. I think those copyrights are pretty new. I don't know that I've needed an update already. I don't know. But yeah, so that's what we talked about. There's a lot of questions about, I mean, in the US with copyrights and stuff like that, you know, a lot of them you're not going to see sold in major stores. You're not going to get that approval. But they're able to somehow get in through eBay and other ways of selling that aren't as restricted, I guess. I don't know the word to use for that, but there's still backdoor ways that they're able to get some of the knockoff stuff in. So, you know, I don't know what Team Corrali's doing. It could be all up, you know, above the board. Could be, you know, there's enough changes that there's no copyrights for the things that they're doing. And it just looks like it, you know, could just look like it. There's a lot of truggies out there. So I don't know. It is curious, especially with the naming conventions and stuff like that. So we just wanted to ask questions. This is RC Conspiracies. So we're kind of creating conspiracies. We don't know what's going on with it, but we have questions. That's for sure. But like as Green Frog says, intellectual property is under attack worldwide. And that is the truth. Pleef, it's what's for breakfast. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let it roll at that. And we're going to have to, you know, leave comments below after the video if you have an opinion on what's going on there, what you think the Max is going to be, not the Max, what you think the new ARRMA is going to be. I'm just reading. I can't read and talk at the same time. I'm still trying to read the viewer chats and all that. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think the next ARRMA might be. When is it going to come out, do you think? I'm guessing before Christmas. And is it going to be the x-maxx killer that everybody has been asking for? Is it going to be 8S? Is it going to be 12S? Is it going to be 13S just to be stupid? I don't know. But and then what do you guys think about Team Corrali and what they're bringing to the market? Is it good for RC? Is it bad? Is it, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have an opinion on it yet. I mean, it seems kind of to me, it seems a little bit crazy to me that it's so close, but I don't know the differences or the nuances that could get somebody in trouble versus not get them into trouble on that end. So I'm just a creative type, you know, video guy. So, you know, you'd need lawyers and stuff to know that kind of stuff. But Corrali definitely has a lot of stuff out already. It's in the marketplace. And so I'm guessing that they think that they've got the ability to bring these out. So, hi, Frank the Tank. Charlie RC says, need to save money for the x-maxx killer. I'm hoping it's something fifth scale. I sure am. And the bigger and the badder they can make it, the more I'm going to want it. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. As always, we enjoy the conversation. in here. I love seeing what you guys are saying and what you're thinking about. And it always is interesting to me because we all have different thoughts about things. And so it's cool to actually learn things from you guys, have ideas pop up that I never would have thought about. But I think there's a lot of good things coming for the RC market in 2020, and will already be on the shelves because they're already being dropped by so many of the companies right now as we speak. So thanks for tuning in. As always, guys, have fun RCing. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are not, and be sure to check out the RC Conspiracies podcast if you want to be able to listen to these later on and not have your phone burning up battery by playing video you don't want to watch. So we'll see you guys at the next RC Conspiracies.